Hello and welcome back to the Not the Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks. Today we've got an exclusive interview for you with Woking star Tommy Block, formerly of Hibs after leaving the Easter Road side in the summer. He had been at Queen's Park on loan from Hibs last season but opted to move away from Leith in the summer to move back down south in search of first team football that he was after that he wasn't quite getting at Hibs. A brave decision from him. With time still to go on his Hibs contract, he's taken the big plunge to go to National League and he's played a few games there already. This was recorded before the season started and he was talking to me about his move to Woking, his time at Hibs and why he just didn't feel development football was right for him at this point in his career. A really interesting chat. We hope you do enjoy. Please do check out all the other content that's on the channel. We've had reaction and previews to different things, with more recently the reaction to the Scotland games in the past week, as well as the League Cup matches that have also been a busy card for the Scottish football calendar. Sort of reaching some sort of end with the Premiership matches going on this weekend, which will be previewed after this video is going up. You can find that on the Saturday morning. We've got the Championship coming back as well, so we'll have a look at that, as well as the League One and League Two action once those fixtures are concluded. But we'll leave you with our interview with Tommy Block just now. Please do enjoy, and until next time, take it easy. Then obviously moved back down south this summer. What it was stated in the Hibs statement that it was just looking for first team football. Is that all it was, just after your spell at Queen's Park?
Yeah, it was. I think if I was to stay at Hibs, I think I'd be sent back on loan again, and I don't think the standard would be what I'm looking for. And I thought, you know what, after the virus, I want to come back home and play as good as I can at the highest level I can. And I think the National League is what suited me the best. And I think with Woking, I think I'm at a good level to showcase what I can do. And hopefully I'll kick on from this season.
Is it full time at Woking or is it part time?
It's part time at the minute, but we sometimes some of us train Mondays and then Tuesday, Thursday nights as well, and then games Saturday. But most of the games, just because of the season's so congested, is Saturday, Tuesday. So I'm just getting plenty of games, and that's the most important thing, really.
What are you doing outside of football then? Now that you're back part time.
Well, I've still got some stuff that I can be doing gym wise and stuff. I'm not going to get a job or nothing like that just yet. I'm too young to be doing that. And obviously, I still want to be playing football. And if I can develop myself by myself and doing, obviously, when I've been at Hibs, I've got all my gym work and experience from then. So I can still carry on doing that just by myself instead of in a group training. So that's what I've been up to recently.
And that must be quite nice for you then, that you don't sort of, there's a few players, especially in Scotland, just with the virus and things like that, that have opted for part-time football over full-time football. It's good for you that
yeah.
So even though it's a part-time team, you can commit full-time hours to it.
Yeah, exactly. I commit to myself full-time hours, and obviously Woking, I get there as much as I can. If there's a training session on a Monday, I'll go, or another day of the week, I always get there if I can.
So obviously you're, because initially I completely misread it. I initially thought that you came through the Hibs Academy, but you actually moved down there from England, if I'm not.
Yeah, from Bognor Regis. I played for Bognor Regis Town for a couple of years, and then Hibs signed me from there. So I moved up from there. It was a massive move at the time.
How did you sort of find that? Because moving from part-time to such a big club like Hibs at a young age must have been quite a thing.
Well, to be fair, it was more full of adrenaline, and obviously getting signed by a professional club like Hibs and getting my first pro deal. I was just buzzing to get up there at the start and really enjoying it, and made some good friends up there, met some good people. Which is, to be fair, living up there was probably one of the better parts.
It's a really nice area, Edinburgh. I know a lot of the people that do eventually move into Hibs and Hearts, even the actual lifestyle in Edinburgh is one of the most attractive things.
Yeah, it definitely is. I love it in Edinburgh. It's good.
Just so you moved up there fairly young. Would you have been as young as 16, 17?
I was 18. Just turned. I think, or maybe just turned 19. I think it might. No, just turned 19. I would have been. I signed when I was 18, but the move went through when I was 19.
So I'm assuming you just moved up yourself? No.
Yeah, moved up myself. Yeah, I took all my stuff and done the massive drive all the way through England and 2 hours into Scotland. Yeah.
So you're back in with your mum and dad now, or?
Yeah, back in mum and dad, which obviously it's nice for them, but being away for a year and a half, 2 years, obviously I enjoy my own space and stuff, so it's frustrating at the minute.
No, I can get that. You played actual senior football with Queen's Park last season in League Two. I've watched a few development games at Hibs clubs, and you know what it's like. It's a complete
Yeah.
play actual men's football.
But that's the main reason I wanted to come down here, because I think, although I'm not training every day, playing under 23s football, and no offence to anyone, I just think it's rubbish playing 23s football. You need to be playing men's football and senior football and getting, playing for competitions and points and trying to win a league or get promotion or whatever the team's ambitions are. Whereas in development football, I think it's so passive and friendly, and to be honest, I don't think it's any good.
It has been scrapped this year pretty much because of COVID, and it's going to go completely the other way, I suppose, because there is a lot of young players who are just not going to get the minutes this season, because there's problems with the loan market, because some players can't go to certain clubs because of COVID regulations and things like that. But as you were saying, when they do play, whilst it's good for fitness and match sharpness and things like that, in terms of further development. Perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of development and being coached and stuff, like at Hibs, I had some really good coaches. Eddie May was there, and obviously the fitness guy, Paul Green. They've done loads of work for me, and I obviously really appreciate that. And I'll never forget what they've done and stuff. And that's where development games, they can help me in that sort of thing. But in terms of actual getting football experience, I think it's better me playing for Woking than playing men's football competitively.
How did you find dropping into League Two then, Queens, when you went to Queen's Park? I don't know if you were quite there, but they're obviously full time now, and there's quite the they've got going on down there.
Yeah, well, Queen's Park are a great club. They every time my family come up from England and got the plane up, they always really looked after them, really professional the way they done it. And obviously League Two, I think where I'm playing now is at a higher standard in League Two. But at the time, it was good for me. I was playing men's football and playing regularly as well with Mark Roberts there. He was good to me too. So I did enjoy it at Queen's Park, but obviously I needed to step up as well.
Queen's Park's always an odd one for League Two, because you're playing at Clifton Hill and things like that, Wellbeing Rovers, but then your home games, as of last seasons before that,
at Hampden, that's another good thing. Playing at Hampden every other week, or when we was at home, it was a great experience.
It's just a shame of Queen's Park, just with the size of club there, they obviously can't fill Hampden. They'll get a few hundred in, but for a young player like you, getting to basically have that as your home base for a wee while must have been nice.
Yeah, it was nice. A great experience playing. Like I said, I was only there till January, from the start of the season till January, so I was only there for half a season.
What did you sort of do then after that? Would you have just been in, because obviously the season get curtailed after that, so I think any loan moves anybody had from January onwards anyway were not pointless, but they obviously they could have been. But would you have just been in the under-20s with Eddie May and things like that after Queen's Park?
Well, in January, I had quite a few conversations with Graham Maffey and Eddie, and some people wanted me to go back to Queen's Park, but I just thought personally I need to step up. So I was waiting for a loan move, and then the right option never come. So I ended up playing development football, which, like I said, with Eddie and stuff. And it does get to a time and just thinking, because sometimes when we played, we end up going and play down in teams in England, like Huddersfield and Brentford and teams like that. But they would come one game every 2 or 3 weeks, and I just thought, when I was at Hibs, fitness-wise, I was probably fittest than I've ever been in my career, but match-wise, I don't think I was playing enough football to develop. Although the coaching and the training and the gym work was top class, obviously the games are the most important thing. No one watches training, everyone watches the games.
No, Hibs had a weird, not a weird thing going on, but it was different from the other development team leagues that you did go down. You played Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, and a couple of, and Brentford was one as well. So probably in those English games especially, they're probably a bit of high standard than what you would have played in Scotland, but I don't know because how does that compare sort of playing those sort of elite academies, if you were, compared to playing Albion Rovers, Stenhousemuir, teams like that?
Well, it's different. The experience I got from Queen's Park playing teams like that, I think it was very long ball, very physical. Whereas you go and play teams like Brentford and it's fast, pace, movement, rotation was hard, and you had to adjust. There's two totally different types of games. But I thought they're obviously both good challenges, and both did improve me as a player. But like I said, there was coming once in a blue moon sometimes the fixtures, and it was just in the end, complete waste of time, I think, personally.
it seems like not had a negative experience, but just had your perhaps eyes opened a wee bit that you went from like Bognor, where I'm assuming it perhaps would have been similar-ish to like Stenhousemuir and Albion Rovers, teams like that, to then
Yeah,
sort of playing the sort of more friendly Hibs
yeah.
counters at youth level.
I wouldn't say it was a negative experience. When I signed for Hibs, I really enjoyed it. The first 6 months or so was really good. Neil Lennon obviously signed me at the time, and we got on. But we didn't get on. But I really made an impression, I think, with under him. And then Paul Heckingbottom come in, didn't give me a chance. Jack Ross come in, didn't give me a chance. And then I personally think Hibs never gave me a chance after that. And I was just there wasting my time waiting for my contract to run out, which is why I had to get out when I could.
You still had a year to run on. Would you have been happier staying for another year, or were you just like, nah, I need to go here?
No, I thought I did need to go. I think my time has come. I still had a year left with a 2-year extension in the club's favour, not my favour, which I don't think would have been activated anyway. But yeah, I managed to move on. And like I said earlier, playing for Woking in the National League, I think that was the best. If I had that opportunity, that's the best thing I could have done at that time.
You said Neil Lennon sort of brought you in. How did you find him, just because he's quite a character these days in Scottish football?
Yeah, I think, well, he left Hibs and then all of a sudden won the league with Celtic. So he's a great manager. Obviously, he's playing with a better team, but they're obviously he's a great manager and he's very good at what he does and training wise and stuff like that. I really enjoyed playing under him and being involved. I was in, it'd take a 19-man squad or a 20-man squad and I'd be in that. I might not be in the 18, I might not make the bench, but still being around like a pre-match hotel and stuff and like on the bus and stuff was a great experience with him.
Paul Heckingbottom's a weird one because you sort of like, with the type of player he was trying to get in at Hibs during his short spell there, you sort of fit the mould of sort of young English player coming from down south and then playing in, because he was looking for like a proper midfielder after I think Marvin Bartley and Mark Hogan left. So sort of that he never gave you a chance because you probably were a ready-made fit for him.
Yeah, but obviously football's all about opinions, and I don't think he liked me. But to be honest, I never got a first chance, and I think a few people say that. And like I said, I don't think I had a chance to even improve or impress or do anything under Paul Heckingbottom.
That must just be so frustrating if you're like putting in the work and then you just feel like it's
exactly that. That's how I was thinking. I was moving away from home. I'd go wake up to training and I'm working so hard, getting absolutely nothing for months after months or however long he was there for. And it got to a point where I'm thinking, bloody hell, what am I doing? That's ended up when I was going on loan just to play football again. Because obviously we dropped out of the league as well. Because when we played, I remember when I first joined, the first 2 months we played, I think it was Queen of the South. We beat them like 8-9-0 or something stupid like that. And like that, I think that was the main reason we dropped out of the league. It was just a pointless game. And then obviously when Paul Heckingbottom came in, there was no game, so I had to get myself on loan. So I was training, working hard. And obviously as a footballer, you train all week to play on the Saturday. And when you're not playing on the Saturday, you train all week. The weekend comes, you train again, and then the next week comes, you training. And it just becomes like a bit soul destroying. You're just training for literally nothing, really, trying to get a chance, which I wasn't getting.
So now that you are at Woking, are you back in pre-season yet? Just with all the COVID stuff going on?
Yeah, the league starts tomorrow. First league game tomorrow. We've got Solihull Moors at home, which will be a tough game. Like a different game as well. They'll be good on the ball, trying to pass it, like an academy side, but with an intention to like penetrate us and get further up and try and score loads of goals. So that'll be a good game. But I reckon Woking, we will do well.
And the National League's a weird one. I was speaking to a player that's at Weymouth, and I think it would actually only be you and Weymouth who are the two part-time teams in that league, and pretty much everybody else is full-time. So it's not like 5 years ago where it was just predominantly made of part-time teams.
Well, there's some massive clubs now. Chesterfield, obviously Leighton Orient just got promoted, but Wrexham's a big club. Chesterfield, so even Solihull Moors, big clubs spending loads of money. And obviously we've got Weymouth on Tuesday, funnily enough, coming up. So that's our second league game, so that should be a good game.
It must be a challenge for you, I'm assuming, going to the likes of Wrexham. Obviously, no fans this year at Stepford. What sort of thoughts on that as well? Because the mixed messages for clubs at that level down south, obviously based in Scotland, perhaps don't know as much about it as you do, but from what I've heard, it's just a bit of a riot.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare not playing in front of fans, especially at that level for clubs like Weymouth and Woking. They rely on fans getting in to pay their wages and whatever they need to pay out. But obviously that's nothing to do with me. I think they've got stuff organised, like in terms of income and stuff. So, and then obviously as long as we're playing football, that's all that matters to me, and obviously the rest of the team.
You seem quite driven just to be playing every week. You could get a few players who would be happy to just sit in their academies and things like that. And not that that's a bad thing. For some players that is the best option to do. But for you, it feels like you're very driven to just be getting kicked about a bit.
I think the problem is now you've got a lot of people thinking like I play for Hibs sort of status, which I had when I was at Hibs. Not like a big time attitude thinking I'm better than I am or nothing like that. But it was I play for a big club in Scotland, and I think that's what affects most people. Whereas you think you got to take not a step down because Woking's a massive club and probably the biggest league I've played, the hardest league I've probably played in so far. So that's in terms of like that. I think I've took a step up. But obviously the difference between playing for a massive club in Scotland and obviously one down south, I think that's what affects loads of people. But I'm more happy playing for Woking than I would be for Hibs reserves. That's for sure.
I think that can, because even though Hibs are probably a bigger club than Woking, just given the stadium size and things like that.
Yeah.
The first team football is the main thing, regardless of whether you were at Barcelona or Woking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So obviously being English as well, I want to play in England. And no disrespect to Scottish football, but unless you're in the Premier League playing every week, then I don't think outside of that, I think I'd rather be in England. Definitely trying to make my way into the Football League, which hopefully in 2 years, 3 years, I might end up doing.
Well, assuming that's the hope, but you were talking about perhaps getting another loan move at Hibs. Would that have been to like Scottish Championship level to try that, or would it have been to like a Woking or something in the National League?
To be honest, I would have been whatever the move. Right, obviously, if I was still in Hibs in Edinburgh, I could have still trained full time and been on loan. But with the COVID, I don't think you can be at both clubs because you're obviously like in bubbles and stuff, and you're mixing the two bubbles. I don't know what the situation would have been, but if I could obviously play at a National League club and sign for a National League club closer to home, living at home as well, I would have definitely done that, which is why I've done it.
So, in terms of like first team minutes this season, are you hoping that you can play most weeks? I'd assume.
Well, obviously that's everyone's dream, but we've got good players as well. We've got very good players in midfield, and obviously I can play right back as well. We've got good right backs, and obviously I sometimes played centre back for Bognor as well. We've got a good team, so there's competition for places definitely. But obviously I want to play. I'm not going to sit here and say I think I will play every week because I don't think that. But I think I'm going to try and compete to try and get my shirt and hopefully keep it. But we'll wait and see.
Certainly seems like you've got the determination to do it. Like you don't, even though you are going into an environment where there'll be proper men, if you will, you seem quite determined to.
Yeah.
Age affect you.
Well, that's the same as Hibs. When I signed for Hibs, I wanted to take the best of the opportunity and then use the gym and train every time and just improve myself. And with the coaches, like I said, with Eddie May and Paul Green, physically I've come on leaps and bounds, and technically I've definitely improved. Tactically I've improved. I've learned a new position as well. So in terms of when I signed for when I left Bognor to sign for Hibs, I then improved at Hibs, ended up getting loan experience, playing football again. But then I've now gone from National League. So I played in the National League south of Bognor, ended up getting relegated with Bognor. So and then I played in the Ryman Premier League. So if you look at it this way, I've gone to Hibs and then come back to England 2 leagues higher. So as a player, I've improved using Hibs, and that was obviously the goal. So obviously play for the first team, but that wasn't an option in the end, so I didn't have a chance.